Good day, everyone. This is Patrick from EasyFX Code Trading System, and it's Saturday, the 10th of December, 2022, and it's the weekly technical analysis for Euro, Cable, and the Aussie dollar for the second week of December. And let's begin with Euro, but if you look across all the three majors here, it's basically consolidating for the whole of last week. And probably all preparing for some major news this coming week with these three major central banks giving or announcing their rate decisions. Starting with ECB on the Thursday, and the Cable, the Bank of England, on Thursday as well. There's an hour or so difference between the two. And before that, on early Thursday morning or Wednesday afternoon in the US, is the Federal Reserve with their rate decision. So that's the key one that everyone will be watching out for, and especially the impact on the US dollar movement, and inversely correlated with the other major pairs. So for the Euro, it did start out to test the resistance zone at the 106 area, and quickly retraced back, pulled back lower, found support at the 10 SMA before bouncing back up to almost retest the high for the week. And on a weekly time frame, it's just a doji, almost a spinning top, but very close to be a doji, sitting under the weekly 55 EMA. So that could signal a pause and a potential pullback first before any further advance. So on the back to the daily time frame. So if the impact from the FOMC decisions on the Wednesday afternoon, that could drive the Euro lower. So this area is going to be a significant support zone now with the 104 and the daily 200 EMA. Below that is still a key support zone. And, let's draw this across. Let's keep this zone here. That's the potential support zone. And resistance is still going to be up ahead at the 106 and just next to the 162 fib extension. It's just slightly above that. Okay. And similar to spot gold, this seems to be a lower high, but not as clear cut as the spot gold if we check the other video. But that could be a lower high here. So let's see if this is going to add another layer of resistance. So let's see if it's going to test that resistance zone again before attempting to test the support, and whether it's going to consolidate or break down lower. And further up above that, let's see whether there's another resistance zone to watch out for. There is this zone here from a while back, which we could extend past. So this zone here sitting at around the, let's see, the 106.50 area. So there is another layer of resistance above that. We'll see if it's going to break through that 162 fib extension in the first place. Okay, so this could be constrained between the 104 and the 106 area. And then we'll see what the price action is going to be like within that zone. And let's compare that with the US dollar index. Here's the US dollar index, the DXY. And right from the start of the week, it already tested the previous support and bounced off right through from the 104 into the daily 200 EMA by midweek before pulling back and closing probably quite close to the open, although slightly bullish for close, so big spinning top here. And it's probably supported with some potential data from the US PPI, and where it was slightly better than expected. Now it seems to have also formed something inverse to spot gold here with this rising low. And let's see whether this is going to be of significant support for the US dollar, and the key resistance is still at the daily 200. Seems to be forming an ascending triangle now. It does seem to be setting up for probably a bullish move higher. So this intermediate resistance at 105, we'll leave it there for now, but I think we'll move this more significant resistance to the 106 round figure, where if it does break out higher on next week's FOMC rate decision, we'll see whether it's able to punch through the daily 200 and test the 106 or even higher. Okay, on the support side, you still have this key support at 103. And so far, this previous, I think it's a swing high. If we go back far enough, yes, that was from previous swing high, tested twice, form a resistance, and then now becomes support. Okay. So let's see if it's going to consolidate inside this triangle that seems to be forming. Could be a triangle or an ascending triangle as well, with the daily 200 providing the horizontal resistance. But we'll leave it for now as it is, and there could be potential either breakout or breakdown, and targeting the two round figure levels, 106 or 103. I think it's more than likely to break out higher with the rate increase again, and we'll see whether the Fed will give an indication of where it's going to peak at and start to pivot, because this is, if it's at 0.5%, then it's moving up into 4.5%, and we'll see how many more months for next year, whether they're going to continue to keep increasing, and where that terminal rate is going to be. Okay, that's going to be a very critical week next week before the end of the year. And if we look at the I don't want to fit this for now. Let me just leave this fib as it is, and if it does make a very strong move, the next key resistance is going to be at this swing low, this swing high area we just tested, and that's at the 107.60 area, but I think that's going to be for later. Okay, all right, let's move back to the other major pairs. Let's move on to the cable. It's also similar to the euro pattern, and also with a lower high finding support. This one does hit the day 200 EMA for support, as well as the 10 SMA, and recover back up to hit the 122. Sorry, the 123 round figure. And on the weekly time frame, that's also sitting under the weekly 55 EMA and closing as a doji. So it could be a similar movement for the cable as well. And also the Bank of England is also going to announce their rate decision, likely another 50 basis points. But there's also a whole lot of UK economic news for this week, with their CPI as well. The US also has their CPI coming out on Tuesday, before the FOMC as well. Yes, on a Tuesday. So let's clear these now, and support is still going to be at the 138 fib extension. So it did attempt to hit the 200 fib extensions, spike through the 123 before pulling back. major support here. Below that at 117, this could move up. But for now, we'll leave it there because that's the swing high here at the upper trend line. Resistance is going to be at the 200 pip extension. Above that, there is the next round figure at 125. But for now, I think it may not hit there yet. That's the lower high. And we'll see if this turns out to form a symmetrical triangle and consolidation here. And likely centered around the daily 200, which coincides with the 162 pip extension. Okay, so big week for these major pairs, along with the US dollar. Let's move on to the Aussie dollar, where the RBA did increase rate last week, but it did not make much of an impact until later in the week on Wednesday, second half of the week, where it managed to climb back up after falling hard, rejected by the day 200 EMA on a Monday, falling into the intermediate support zone at the 67. This intermediate resistance zone still holds. This should be at the 68. So major resistance zone is safe for now at the 200 fib and the 69 round figure. It has to clear this daily 200 EMA. So on the weekly time frame, it's also not quite a doji, but a small spinning top, but still well under the weekly 55 EMA, which is at the 200 pip extension. But similar formation as the other two majors. So we'll leave the fib for now, still valid, and a major support below that at the 66 round figure. It could be a bit higher now as the daily 55 is moving up and coincides with these swing low areas. So we could extend this support zone a bit higher. So the Aussie dollar will also be exposed to the Federal Reserve decision. And these trend lines, we could change this now to this area into a slightly ascending wedge, almost moving into a bullish channel. So there is a bit of room for the Aussie dollar to try to test the intermediate resistance, probably at the daily 200 or maybe this upper channel trend line before testing the support areas. We'll see if it's able to break the support or dip even lower or just consolidate in this area. Okay. So major news for next week, we'll need to watch out for a lot of volatility in all the major pairs, as the US dollar is going to be volatile. So do have a safe week and a good trading week, and do check out my other videos on spot gold and dollar yen, and cheers for now.